We need to hide our nurses, our teachers and our police because Australians are trying to lure them down under. An Australian minister has admitted that he's come to the UK specifically on a mission to poach thousands of British workers to fill vacancies across the country. They are telling Brits very unfortunate truths, like the wages are higher, the cost of living is lower and the weather's better. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? But joining me now is maths teacher Bobby Seagull, and he's considered moving to work in Australia. He's got colleagues who live over there. Bobby, I mean, why isn't everyone just moving to Australia?
So I'll tell you sort of my thought process. So actually, yeah, I'm a teacher now, but I used to actually work in the city, worked at Lehman Brothers, which is not a great choice, as an investment bank, and at PwC as a chartered accountant. And when I worked in the city, a lot of my colleagues actually went on secondment, ostensibly for 3 months to 6 months to 12 months, but stayed there indefinitely. And when I spoke to them about why they moved, you know, the things that you mentioned, the weather, the lifestyle, the sort of amazing cities they have there. And also, it feels like it's meant to be a less crowded place than the UK. But I think, again, when I did seriously consider, would I, you know, maybe not move there permanently, but have a secondment there. I think the thing that kept me in the UK is the sort of cultural capital about why we love England. Again, the fish and chips, our pubs, watching Premier League games. So I think, again, Australia definitely offers positives. And again, I know there are some teachers, some of my friends are also considering moving abroad, not just Australia, but other places, maybe the States, South Africa, New Zealand. But
Bobby,
as a nation, we need to make sure that we're...
Bobby, if we're being honest, right, if you're going as a teacher to Australia, the only reason that Australia can now do this stuff is because they've actually protected their borders for however long, and they can cherry-pick the best and the brightest from other countries that speak the same language as them, share a similar culture, and will get good, strong-minded, good people with a good work ethic like yourself to go over there and pay into their tax system from a young age. So they've done immigration right, OK? The reality is, if you walk into an inner-city school in this country, is it not an absolute nightmare to teach in there compared to how it would be somewhere in Australia?
Well, again, it can be a challenge to teach in inner-city schools. But again, I think as teachers, that's part of the joy of getting through to students that you think, they're not quite getting it, but they eventually do. And I think with Australia, of course, if you think about their immigration policy, they're definitely much tougher than we are. But their nation is, if you think about it geographically on a map, it's on an island, a huge island, as it were, quite distant from many locations. Where the UK, from France, again, the government needs to think about our policies, how we deal with France, how we do dinghies coming across. That's a separate issue. But I think Australia, I can see why teachers would be lured to working in Australia, especially in the sort of current climate now.
OK, all right. And just to say, we've got strikes coming out of our ears, and let's say something else then, right across the country at the moment, and Australia has just seen an opportunity, and fair play to them, I think, to try to lap it up. Are we going to see a mass exodus of people going down under?
So I think, again, as someone that's worked in the city, I don't think it'll be a mass exodus, but I think on the margins, yes, if people are considering the cost of living here, maybe working conditions, pay conditions, on the margins, there are people like, actually, should I go? They might think now's the right time. So hopefully we don't lose some very good teachers, doctors and public sector workers to Australia.